Formula One is changing forever. Not everyone is happy. The sport's biggest star is pushing back. Max Verstappen says this isn't real Formula One. Under the new 2026 Formula One regulations, the foundation of every lap shifts from pure engine power to a careful balance between combustion and electricity. The internal combustion engine now produces around 400 kilowatts, down from previous years, while the electric motor, the MGUK, surges to a maximum of 350 kilowatts. This nearly even split marks a sharp departure from past seasons, where the engine dominated and electric power played a supporting role. Drivers are no longer free to use all their power at will. Instead, the FIA's Article 5 sets strict boundaries, a maximum energy harvest of 8.5 megajoules per lap, with deployment capped by battery state of charge and a ceiling on how much electric boost can be unleashed. The electric system's output is not continuous. It is tied to specific deployment windows. In normal running, the car operates with a partial electric assist, but when within 1 second of arrival, a driver can trigger overtake mode, releasing the full 350 kilowatts for up to 15 seconds. Once this burst is spent, the battery must be replenished, forcing a switch to harvest mode and requiring the driver to ease off the throttle, often before corners. This means drivers must plan their attacks and conserve energy, rather than simply pushing flat out. A single lap now becomes a puzzle. The throttle traces from prototype testing reveal a clear pattern. Full acceleration is followed by lift and coast periods, dictated not by driver instinct, but by the mathematics of battery management. Each team must submit a pre-race energy allocation plan, and any breach results in time penalties. The result is a race shaped as much by kilojoule accounting as by raw speed, a fundamental change that sets the stage for the next wave of driver reactions. Aerodynamics and chassis design in Formula One are about to enter unfamiliar territory. For 2026, every car will be shorter, lighter, and more agile, and far more adjustable in real time. The wheelbase shrinks by 200 millimeters, bringing the cars down to 3,400 millimeters, closer in length to classic Formula One machines of the early 2000s. Overall width drops by 100 millimeters, and minimum weight falls to 768 kilograms, a 30-kilogram cut from the previous generation. These changes are not just about numbers. A shorter, narrower chassis means quicker direction changes and shorter braking zones, especially through tight corners. Drivers will find the car more responsive and also more sensitive to setup and tire wear. The most radical shift comes with the introduction of active aerodynamics. Both the front and rear wings now feature driver-adjustable flaps. Instead of the old DRS system, these elements can be continuously tuned between low drag and high downforce settings, depending on the demands of each section of track. On a straight, the driver can flatten the wings for maximum speed, cutting drag by up to 40% compared to 2025. As the car approaches a corner, the wings can be angled back for grip, restoring downforce that would otherwise be lost. This system is not just a push-button advantage, it requires constant attention and timing from the cockpit. With less overall downforce and a lighter chassis, the car's behavior changes dramatically. There is less margin for error at high speed, and the reduced drag makes it easier to follow a rival without losing front-end grip. But the flip side is that drivers must now juggle the demands of energy management with the physical challenge of a more reactive, less stable car. These mechanical changes lay the groundwork for the handling complaints and driving frustrations that will soon come to the surface. Max Verstappen left the Bahrain paddock with a rare edge in his voice. In the first days of running the new 2026 car, the reigning world champion found himself wrestling not just with the circuit, but with the logic of the rules themselves. He told reporters it felt more like Formula E on steroids, his frustration clear. The car's 50-50 power split between engine and electric meant every lap was a calculation. When to push, when to coast, how much battery to save. Instead of attacking each corner, Verstappen described the experience as managing a spreadsheet in real time, forced to lift off the throttle long before the braking zone to stay within strict energy targets. As a pure driver, he said he enjoys driving flat out, and at the moment you cannot drive like that, summing up the sense of lost freedom. In the garage, engineers pored over data, but Verstappen's focus was elsewhere. The racing itself felt changed. Each time he came on the radio, the message was the same. He wanted more power, more of the old Formula One. He admitted the feeling was not very Formula One-like. Shaking his head, now, with lift and coast dominating his rhythm and overtaking tied to brief windows of electric boost, he wondered aloud what kind of racing was left. The question hung in the air: if the sport no longer lets its fastest driver push to the limit, what does that mean for Formula One's soul? Lewis Hamilton approaches the new regulations with a wary eye. He's voiced concerns that constant switching between power modes and mandatory throttle lifts risk turning the car into a high-tech scooter. Mercedes simulations back him up, showing abrupt throttle changes now push brake temperatures over 10% higher, increasing tire wear and the chance of sudden grip loss, especially late in a race. For Hamilton, the question is whether safety and spectacle can survive this new complexity. Lando Norris sees the changes differently. McLaren's data shows that perfect timing of boost and coasting can gain over half a second per lap at Spa. Norris treats the new active aero and energy strategy as a tactical game, believing fans will notice drivers lining up overtakes, feathering throttles, and switching wing angles on the fly. It is a different kind of fun, he says, as long as the cars still look and feel fast. Charles Leclerc is less convinced. He calls mandatory lift and coast the opposite of what Formula One was built on: pure speed. Leclerc points to a Ferrari spin in Abu Dhabi after a sudden drop in electric boost, warning that with more powerful surges coming, mistakes could be disastrous, especially in the wet. For him, instinctive, flat-out racing is under threat. Speculation over Max Verstappen's future in Formula One intensified after a leaked contract summary surfaced online. Motorsport journalists seized on the document, which outlined a performance clause tied to the new hybrid era. According to reports, if Verstappen's average electric power utilization drops below 70% of the permitted 8.5 megajoules per lap for 2 consecutive races, he or Red Bull could trigger renegotiation talks. The same leak described a so-called sustainability bonus, a financial incentive if Verstappen's lap time variance from energy management stays within a narrow plus or minus 0.3-second window over an entire season. These details, while unconfirmed by the team, set off a wave of headlines questioning whether Verstappen might use the clause as a lever to exit early if the new rules sap his motivation. The timing of the leak fanned the flames. Verstappen's recent comments about prioritizing enjoyment over winning, and his admission that he is exploring other things outside of Formula One to have fun, gave the rumors more weight. Outlets from race fans to Autosport ran with the story, each adding their own spin, some warning of a possible early retirement, others suggesting the clause was standard insurance in a rapidly changing sport. The effect was clear. What began as frustration over new regulations now looked like a tangible risk to Red Bull's long-term plans. For the first time, Verstappen's emotional unrest had a legal lever behind it, and the paddock was left to wonder if the reigning champion's future was truly secure. Christian Horner steps into the spotlight with a measured confidence. Speaking to BBC Sport in June 2026, he pointed to Red Bull's long-term planning and adaptability. He said that Max is the driver they built this car for, and that the 2026 regulations are a challenge that play to Max's strengths, his ability to extract every bit of performance from a hybrid package. Horner's words are not just reassurance for the press. They reflect a deliberate strategy behind the scenes. Red Bull's engineering teams are already deep into fine-tuning the hybrid system, investing in simulation tools and new battery technologies aimed at giving their drivers an edge within the strict boundaries of the new rules. Helmut Marko, Red Bull's motorsport advisor, adds another layer of calm. In an August interview with Motorsport magazine, he insisted the team expects the FIA to adjust the energy limits after the first season as data accumulates. He said the regulations will keep evolving and that the FIA will fine-tune the energy budget as more information comes in. He called Max's adaptability the team's biggest asset and said the team will continue to develop the hybrid system around him. Red Bull's public posture is clear. They see the 2026 overhaul not as a threat, but as an opportunity to showcase their technical depth and to keep Verstappen at the center of their project. Leadership points to contract extensions and performance-linked clauses as signs of commitment. While rumors swirl and rival teams speculate, Red Bull projects stability. For now, the message is unwavering. Whatever the rules, the team stands ready to adapt, confident that their preparation and Verstappen's talent will keep them at the front of the grid. Formula One stands at a crossroads. With drivers facing enforced energy saving and the sport's core identity under debate, the next era hinges on choices made now. Whether Formula One remains a battleground for pure racing or becomes something unrecognizable will be shaped, not by nostalgia, but by what happens next.